Welcome to the Pathways to Success. I'm Julian Placino, recruiting professional turned success speaker, show host, and media entrepreneur. This show is dedicated to helping you find your unique pathway to success by having conversations that educate, inspire, and transform. Together, we'll interview some of the world's greatest leaders and uncover their secrets to success. Thanks for tuning in, and on to the show. Welcome to episode 206 of the Pathways to Success, where we have conversations with inspiring leaders about their journeys to success. I'm Julian Placino, and we have another great show lined up for you today. Today's episode is sponsored by CodeUp, and CodeUp is the premier technology career accelerator in Texas, specializing in web development and data science. With employment rates of up to 99%, CodeUp has a proven methodology to take you from beginner to job-ready professional in weeks from the comfort of your own home or your money back. So if you are ready to start your career in web development or data science, I recommend you check out CodeUp at codeup.com. That's CodeUp.com. I am very excited to welcome our featured guest, Bronwyn Allen, CEO at High Profile. Bronwyn, welcome to the Pathways to Success. How are you?
Thank you, Julian. I'm doing great, and I'm so delighted to be here. It's an honor and just something I've been looking forward to all week, so thank you for having me.
And I truly am very grateful for our connection over the years. I want to say maybe 3 or 4 I've known you. You have actually helped me quite a bit in fleshing out business opportunities and also discovering who I was as an entrepreneur. So thank you very much for that.
Absolutely. Well, I always enjoyed our time and our interaction, and I'm thrilled to be here to chat with you more today.
And now you're here. We're full circle. So
Yay.
So Bronwyn, let's start with some context. Tell our audience, what is High Profile?
Thanks for asking. High Profile is near and dear to my heart. We are a recruiting firm based here in Dallas, been in business for almost 34 years. And we place people in 3 areas: accounting and finance, human resources, and administrative support. And just have an incredible team where we have serviced the entire DFW area for all these years, incredible clients we've worked with, job seekers that we've placed now over the years, sometimes multiple times. And so it's just been a really fulfilling business. And I think our team loves what we do. We're real passionate about what we do, and we come to work every day to change lives. And so I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
You know, when I first came to your office, the thing that hit me was when I was sitting down in the waiting room, it was your list of values. It was your list of values and also your mission and your purpose. And I thought it was very unique for a staffing agency to share that so publicly in your face for the first experience for somebody coming in. So I thought that was really awesome.
Well, thank you. We pride ourselves in that. We say we're a company with a heart. We come to work every day to change lives, and that's what we do. That's really what we want everyone in the entire company to believe and to be passionate about. One of our values is OLA. It's one level above service, and so it's something we talk about constantly. Are we providing OLA? How can we provide more OLA? So it's real important to us. Our mission and our values are real important.
One level above service.
Yes.
I love that.
Kind of going above and beyond, just going the extra mile. It's real easy to just do things in a normal basis, but if you go above and beyond, people will remember you. And it's just, you know, when you're in the job seeking mode, you might be nervous, or maybe you're scared, maybe you got let go, or maybe you're just new to Dallas, and you need someone to care for you. You need a recruiting team that's going to kind of bring you in, care for you, and provide that OLA to you to help you with your next search.
I want to know a little bit about your history with your organization. You've been with the company for how long?
Almost 34 years.
34 years. So how did you first come into contact with High Profile work? What is the genesis story?
Well, I graduated from college, moved to Dallas literally about 2 days later. My husband drove the U-Haul truck, and we were married. We got married junior in college, so pretty young, and moved to Dallas. And I thought, well, I need to get a job as soon as possible. And I gave my resume to a friend who said, you know, there's a staffing company that just started in business a couple months ago. I'm not sure exactly what they do, but bring your resume to them and they could probably help you find a job. So I brought my resume to High Profile, and at that point they had been in business for 3 months. And they said, you know, you might be a good recruiter. And I thought, well, sure, I'll try this out. I'll do this for a year or two and just see what recruiting is all about.
Yeah.
And here I am decades later because I just fell in love with it. It is so fulfilling to help somebody with their next step in their career. You know, we all have big decisions to make with spouses that we choose or houses that we buy, but our career is a huge part of our life. And as recruiters, if we can actually make that match for a job seeker that comes to us, we're a huge part of their success in their lives. So it's one of those things where I always tell people, if you're even thinking about going into recruiting, I'd love to talk to you because I'm very biased towards it and I think it's a great profession.
You literally went from from customer to CEO in the time that you've been with High Profile. That's amazing.
I moved around a couple different spots. I had several years of a recruiting experience, several years in sales, and then in management. And really, I've got to say, it was my mentor, the founder of High Profile, Jock Stafford, that believed in me and believed in my abilities and my gifts even before I did, and said, one day you're going to run this company. And I remember thinking, I'm not sure if I'm ready to do that yet. But we kept moving to different roles, new experiences, new stretch assignments. And then the beauty of it was that I received ownership in the company, and then at some point, actually it was in the end of 2019, I actually purchased the company from him. And so now I'm the sole owner of High Profile.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow, customer to CEO to owner. What a story.
I used to keep all my business cards because every new title would get new business cards, and I think they're stashed away somewhere. But it's just been an amazing journey, and it's been awesome because I have had the opportunity to work in every different role within the company. So that helps when I'm talking to new people that are joining our team, that I understand the role that they're in.
Something that I want to mention that I thought was an interesting statistic about High Profile is that High Profile is the highest rated staffing agency in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Irving. Is that correct?
I think that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think your company has done differently than other organizations that has allowed you to achieve this outcome?
Well, hats off to our team, because we have the most incredible team, and truly it's a joy to get to work with them each and every day. I think it goes back to that OLA. It's part of our DNA that we provide one level above service. So I'll give you an example, if a candidate comes to us and for some reason their background or their experience isn't something that we think we could place them with one of our companies, we still want to be a resource for them. We want to try to find out where could we help them, or who else do we know in the recruiting world that could be a good match for them. So it's really just thinking about not only the people that we can help, but maybe the people that we can't help, the clients that we can't help, even if they call us and they say, you know, they're looking for engineers, well, we don't place engineers, but we want to definitely partner with them and show them relationships that we have that we can introduce them to. So just kind of going that extra mile.
I love that. I love that. I want to talk about hiring, and this has got to be one of the craziest markets I've seen. How would you describe what's going on right now in the market?
It is crazy right now, Julian. You're absolutely right. It's we've you know, in several years we've seen it come up and down in the hiring space, but right now companies are hiring like crazy. They're really trying to recover since a lot of them had difficult years during the COVID year. So they're back in full swing hiring, and actually starting with hiring their HR teams. And that's why our HR division has been very busy filling some of those positions. But what we're trying to educate our clients and tell them about is about the pacing right now, the timing of the hiring. It's not a market where you can interview somebody and make your decision a couple of weeks later. It's a market where if you interview somebody today and you think this person is great, they've got all the qualifications I'm looking for, you truly have got to work with your corporate team to make a decision quickly. Otherwise, that candidate's going to have 2 or 3 offers. It happens to us every single day that if things are not moving quickly, those candidates are gone and they have other opportunities because that's the market we're in right now.
It's the velocity of it, and absolutely, it's like all the multiple offers, it's a candidate market, it makes sense to drive the process. What do you think, and you know, our audience knows that I come from the staffing world, right? So I am curious about your perspective. What do you think is the biggest misconception that companies have in working with a staffing agency?
I think they might think that it's easy to find the right candidate, the right individual, and they may not realize that actually it's quite a process, because you may have 50 candidates that have the qualifications, but only 2 candidates that would be the right fit for that culture, that environment, that work style. So just knowing, and a good recruiter can determine, because I know they're companies that they work with really well also, and they can determine if that candidate's going to be a good match. But without having that history and that pipeline and the tenacity to really go through the situation and make sure you're making the right introductions, it's not an easy process. And some of our clients do try to do it on their own, and certainly can. But if they want an expertise, if they want as another company to come in and help them out and help make that match sooner because they're on a timeline, I always recommend that.
So it's about speed and quality and customer service, yeah. What kind of inspiration would you have for, let's say, the candidate side, right? So why, if it's a candidate market right now, why would it make sense to partner with an agency as another resource in their tool belt?
I think it's the reason it makes sense to partner with an agency is because we have these long-term relationships. We have companies now that we've worked with for 3 decades, so we know what openings are available even before maybe one of our competitors would know, just because we have these long-term relationships. So if I were a job seeker, I would say it's in my best interest to definitely sign up and have a recruiter working on my behalf. I would also tell somebody, if they're in the job search market, to make sure their follow-up is impeccable, because they are the candidate that's going to be remembered. If they made a great impression and then they followed up, they sent an article or a thank you note, a lot of candidates don't take the time to do that. So this is just a little thing, but it's really important. I think when they're in the interview process, making sure they come with their energy and their excitement about the job opportunity, even if they get in that interview and they realize this isn't the job for me, it's still a wonderful opportunity and experience to interview. And who knows who's in that interview room that might have some connections for another opportunity too. Right. So it's always seen each opportunity as a way to strengthen your interview skills, and who knows where it will lead.
Yeah. So there was one thing that you mentioned also that is coming back to me now. It's about access, right? Because when I came from agency, we actually had some clients that didn't post their jobs and they went exclusively through us. So it's about access and the quality of that relationship that you have, and that is absolutely, I think, a benefit of working with a recruiter. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bronwyn, before we take a commercial break, I want to ask you this. I am always passionate about I'm always curious about what motivates an individual, and you are obviously very passionate about what you do. What would you say your why is behind this business?
Great question. I love that. Actually, my why is the same as High Profile's mission, and that is to help people reach for their potential, to encourage, motivate, and inspire other people to be the best that they can be. And I have the opportunity every day at High Profile to do that with our team, with all the job seekers that we work with, and even with the client companies that we work with, because as we're providing exceptional talent to them, they're growing, they're becoming better and stronger. So for me, my why is helping other people truly believe in themselves and their gifts.
I love that. And I'll be very honest with you, in the time that we've spent together, you certainly have helped me gain awareness about myself. So thank you for that, Bronwyn.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Yeah, and we're going to take a quick commercial break to hear from our sponsors.
You want to transition out of your career and do something tech related. CodeUp is the place for you. When I came to CodeUp, I was actually working at a chain hair salon. It was just starting not to be for me anymore. My goals were to never work a weekend ever again, to have full health care and benefits, and to just have more time with my son. And now I've met all of those goals. I don't have any regrets. I just regret not coming sooner when I saw those billboards and I was driving down the highway.
And we're back with Bronwyn Allen, CEO at High Profile Staffing. So Bronwyn, I want to jump into now your keys to success. And the show is all about helping our viewers and listeners understand how top performers achieve success in their life. And the first one that you mentioned you're passionate about speaking on is this idea of creating a culture of empowerment. What does this mean?
Thank you for asking. Culture of empowerment is so important to me, and I'll tell you, I learned it from the founder of our company, Jock Stafford. He said when he started the company, he wanted to have a company with an entirely different culture. A culture where we hire decision makers and we let them go. We get behind them, support them in their ideas and their thoughts about how to grow the company. And instead of a culture of control, we empower them to be their very best. So that's something I've learned a long time ago. And to me, it's so important because you want to keep your great employees. You want to have tenure with your employees. And I get asked that a lot because we're really fortunate. We've got employees that have been with us as long as 25 years. And in the recruiting industry, as you know, it's pretty unheard of. Right. So I feel like a lot of that is because of our culture of empowerment, culture of trust, letting them know that we think we want to support them and they may take the business a different route, or they might want to do, and that's how some of our opportunities have happened over the years. That's how our accounting and finance division came along. We actually had a client that said, do you guys do accounting? We'd really love to work with you on the accounting side. And so we went to our team and a couple of them said, yeah, I'd love to look into that and could start that for you. So it's truly supporting your employees, trusting in them, helping support them in their professional growth. And then to me, that's how you create sort of that engagement and that retention of your employees that is what your clients want to work with. They want to work with employees that they know and that there's not a lot of turnover and there's not a lot of churn and burn, which there is unfortunately in our industry.
So if you were to make the case to, let's say, another business that really cares about culture, why to produce a culture of empowerment, like what would you say? What was the single business benefit or outcome or result that you've achieved because of this?
I think the single business benefit is having low turnover.
Okay.
Having employees that come to work every day because they're engaged, they love what they're doing, they know their work is going to be respected. They also know they can fail, they can make mistakes, because we all do. It's more of an opportunity to learn from our mistakes, decide, what can we do differently next time? But there's not that fear that what's going to happen if I make a mistake, or what's going to happen because we all have those days, we all have those times, but it's more you're empowered to be the very best you can be. And you're empowered to come to the table with solutions, with ideas, with your creative thinking to help us move forward.
So the churn, 100%. There was sometimes in years I've been staffing when the average churn on my team was like 3 to 6 months, right? And it was just the way it was.
Yes.
So I'm curious, what are some specific things that you have done at High Profile to create this culture of empowerment and keep great talent?
Well, one of the things we did years ago, which I think a lot of companies have done since then, is that we have a culture committee. So we do things like we celebrate our employees, we celebrate their work anniversaries, their birthdays. Obviously, when they have special life celebrations, we're there. We want to make sure that it's a big deal. We want to make sure that they know how much we care about them. And I think a lot of other businesses are just focused on the business and not focused on the whole person that comes to work. What are all the other pieces that they're going through? Is it something good or something bad? And how can we support them through that? So that's a big part of it.
Is there something that you do unique in your own hiring process to make sure you have the right people coming into the culture?
We make sure that we do a pretty thorough interview process. We really want to find out if this person has that same passion for OLA as we do. Does this person have the same passion to do whatever they can to help job seekers, to help our clients, or do they just want to do kind of an average job? They're probably not the right fit for us. But we really do a thorough investigation to try to figure out if it's a good match, because High Profile is not the right match for every person. Obviously it's one company, and it may be that you're exceptional at what you do, but High Profile may not be a good fit for you, and vice versa. So we want to make sure we attract people that love what they do. They can bring that love and that passion to work every day.
Gotcha. So in a culture of empowerment, and it happens in every organization, right? How have you historically dealt with a performer who may have been struggling or may have needed to move into a different role? How does that work with you guys?
Well, it's about open communication for sure, and then making sure that they are talking directly with the people that they report to, or that there's open communication with me, that we know that they're struggling. What kind of help do they need? What kind of industry knowledge do they need? Or what type of certification would be helpful? Or is this maybe not the right role for them at all? And do we need to see if we can change them into another role, or help find them something else outside our industry? So really just finding out where they are, meeting them where they are, and knowing that every employee is at a different level with their career. I mean, I have some employees that are just getting started with their career, so they want to climb a ladder, they want to take on new opportunities. I have some employees that are getting ready to retire, so their whole mindset's different. But meeting each employee where they are and determining how can I best support them, they're going to turn around and support the company like nobody's business because they'll be engaged and because they feel empowered to do their best.
The thing that I really like about that, Bronwyn, is that you are focusing on the individual. If there's one thing I know in recruiting also, a poor performer does not necessarily, it doesn't mean they're a bad person. They might not just be doing the right thing, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because you can put someone in a different situation and see them absolutely shine. And I think that's key, is getting to know the individual and what do they want out of their career, right? So if you were to give a business owner or maybe even a corporate leader some advice, just one thing to do immediately after this to begin to create a culture of empowerment, what would you say to them?
I would say something that friends told me yesterday at lunch. It was a great reminder, and he calls them stay interviews. Are you talking to your employees instead of doing the exit interview when they're leaving and they've already resigned? Are you asking them questions about why they would possibly leave your organization? Are you having stay interview questions? The question is as simple as, what would attract you or what would entice you to look at another opportunity? You know, what would that look like? And if you'll start to have those conversations with your employees, it'll be really interesting what you'll find out. Maybe they're not getting to work remotely and they truly want some more flexibility to work more days from home. Maybe it's something with the commute that's really they're struggling with, but you didn't know that because you didn't ask. So it's truly finding out what is it that keeps them there with your organization and what is it that would entice them to leave.
That is a huge tactical piece, I got to tell you, because I think a lot of people are focused on hiring and not necessarily sort of retaining, right? So not only are you building with trust, but you're uncovering issues with the organization. I think that is an amazing tip to have. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Yeah. I want to jump into the second key to success here. And you use a very specific word. You said why you should cherish your network.
Yes.
What does this mean in the light of that word? How do you cherish your network?
I picked that word cherish because to me, cherish means to guard, to protect, to make sure that those people know that they're really important in your lives. You know, we all have a network. We've all talked about building our network, you know, really expanding our network. And I think it's so important that we look at first our inner circle. Who are the people in our inner circle that we surround ourselves with every day? Are they people that are lifting us up? Are they people that are saying, Bronwyn, that's a crazy goal, but I believe you can do it? Or are they the naysayers that are kind of bringing us down and that's causing additional stress and probably keeping us from getting closer to our goals? So really first, evaluate your inner circle. Choose your inner circle wisely. You know, we all choose who we want to associate with, and it's so important that we have people on our team that support us and support what we are seeing for the future. And then secondly, the broader network, the relationships that we have, just making sure that we cultivate those relationships, that we don't take them for granted. I'm learning that every day. I have so many amazing relationships that I'm so thankful for, but I always feel at the end of the day like maybe there's somebody I skipped or somebody I didn't have enough time to get back in touch with. Got to make that effort to get back in touch and cultivate those relationships, because it's really all about the relationships that we have, the deeper relationships we have, the ones where we know we can grow those relationships and we want to grow those relationships. Being intentional to do so is so important. I think all of us get really busy and we think, oh, we'll do that later, but don't. It's sort of just like networking. When you have a job, it's really important to keep up the networking, because I've had a lot of job seekers come to me and say, you know, I was so busy at my last job, I wasn't networking. So now I'm starting from scratch, and you just don't want to be in that situation.
So networking is a huge topic, and I think most everyone understands the importance of it. But if you were to give a tip, or maybe something that you've done differently to our audience to do this one thing to begin to better curate your network or expand it, what would you say that is?
I would say think about your network and think about who on your network could be an accountability partner for you. And I'll give you two examples. One is I have a running partner. I've run with her every Wednesday morning for probably 15 years. So she is my running accountability partner, and we're great friends. We've shared life together and our journey together. And so for me, she keeps me getting up at a certain time, meeting at a certain time. So she's my accountability partner on the running side. And she's invaluable because of that. I was telling somebody else recently, she went away for the whole month of June and I did no running. I just
did no.
And here I've been running for years. It's one of my favorite things to do, but my accountability partner wasn't there. So it's critical to have accountability partners because they really keep you moving towards your goals. Another sense, in a business sense, I've had people in my inner circle that have been accountability partners that I've met with on a monthly basis to talk about goals. How are we moving forward with our goals for the year? Where are we behind? Where are we lagging? What do we need to tweak? And again, that's from people in your inner circle that you trust, that you feel like you've shared what you want to accomplish this year, and they can really help you get there. So it's just taking those opportunities to deepen those relationships in your network, and that's why I say cherish them, because the more we cherish those relationships, we can learn from people, we can certainly help provide some value to them, and it's a great win-win.
No, I 100% absolutely believe that. It is like you can choose the people that you're around, and by being very conscious of it, you sort of become like them, right? And if you think about it, you and I have been introduced many times by several different points of contacts. Lynn from Superior Hire, Christina Rossini, previous guest on the show, right? And it's to build your network through trusted referrals is an amazing thing to do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to give a few shout outs to folks tuned into the live stream here. I see Sherry Krause, thank you for joining us. Also James Lafferty, also a fellow senior staffing professional. So James, thank you for tuning in. So Bronwyn, I want to jump into the final topic about your keys to success, and it's this idea of developing a habit. And do habits support your growth? Where do you want to start with this?
Well, we all have habits. So it's a matter of analyzing, are my habits helping me grow or are my habits holding me back?
Right.
And we all probably have a combination of both, good habits and bad habits. But to me, it's just so important to evaluate your good habits and determine what good habits you don't currently have that you want to develop so you can move forward. I see it in my life every day. I see it in job seekers' lives every day, and certainly in friends and colleagues. It's the ones that stick to a consistent process, a consistent habit that are producing the results that they want. So it's really just a matter of figuring out what is it that I want to, what area do I want to grow in? What habit, behavior do I need to put behind that's going to get me there? We talked about running, and you can't run a marathon or a race without the habit of training for it.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example. You've got to probably months before decide, okay, I'm going to run that race. It's going to take me all of this training time. So that's the habit. And along with that comes, eating habits, sleeping habits, so that you can get ready to do that. So it's the same way in our lives with our careers and our professional lives, is determining what is it that's important to us, providing, deciding I want to put together these habits, I want to enforce these habits so I can get closer to those goals, and I want to help encourage other people with their habits and their goals to help them move forward.
What has been the most impactful habit that you have started over the last maybe 1 or 2 years that has yielded the biggest return for whatever you were trying to accomplish with that habit?
That's a great question, Julian. One that comes to mind is when we were going through COVID, and I just got a shout out to an amazing leadership team that I have. These people kept me going through COVID just very names? Positively. Our leadership team is Callie, Wanda, and Jennifer.
Callie, Wanda, and Jennifer.
Yes, and they're incredible. We decided early on that we were going to meet every single day.
Wow.
So we had virtual meetings every single day during COVID for almost probably at least 6 months into it. And then we said, okay, we could probably meet like 2 or 3 times a week now. But that habit of meeting every day with all the uncertainty that was going on for our businesses, for our job seekers, for us personally in our personal lives, it kept us all together. It kept us all moving forward. And it was incredible. So to me, that was just like an amazing opportunity to have communication every day with the leadership team and to try to figure out how to solve problems every day, because that's what we do as leaders. They say our title should say Chief Problem Solver, because the more the level of our leadership really is valued at the type of problems that we solve. We solve problems every day. And of course, during a COVID year, that was just magnified. So that was a huge one. I also think something else that's helped me, and this I've actually done for about a decade, is every single morning I have two things I do before I kind of get into the work mode. Is I read and journal and pray, and then I exercise. So those two things together every single morning, that's how I start my day. And if I don't start my day that way, it's going to be a totally different day. So if I want to start on, upbeat and excited for the day, that's what I've got to do.
I have much to talk to you about that because I have the exact same process, actually.
Excellent.
So thank you for sharing that. What has been helpful to you to help you intentionally start a habit and get it to stick?
Writing it down, having an accountability partner that I'm telling them about it. I just recently worked on a vision board, so even having a visual of it is really good as well. But writing it down, telling other people about it. Because if I write it down and I don't tell anybody else about it, I can decide not to do it. But it's telling other people about it, and then they ask me about it a month later, I know I'll have to be accountable for that.
Before we jump into kind of our fun lightning round where we learn a little bit more about your personality, if there was any other more general advice on how to achieve success, and I have corporate professionals, business leaders, entrepreneurs tuning into the show, what's that one thing you would advise them?
I would tell them what I've been told, and that is find a leader that's a few steps ahead of you. And find that person, watch them, observe their habits, get to know them, find out what they're doing that got them to where they are. And that's how we grow.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Bronwyn, I want to ask a few fun questions so we can kind of get to know you. So this will be a quick lightning round, and we'll start with what's your favorite food?
Ooh, I always say I've never met a food I didn't like, but I'm a chocolate cake fan. So
chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake. Yep.
Favorite music?
I have a wide range of that too, but I'm big on inspirational gospel music. That gets me going.
And what is it that you're binge watching right now on Netflix or Amazon?
I am not binge watching anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more of my husband he's a sports fanatic, so he has the control of the remote, and I sit next to him and I'm reading, I'm looking at my emails, and I'm trying sometimes to listen to podcasts too while I'm sitting there.
I totally get that. Bronwyn, what's something that you're very proud of that no one really knows about?
Two things, my husband and my daughter. Because they're both amazing. My husband, I've been married to him for almost 36 years.
Wow.
So we met when we were 19, and he's been incredible. So, and then my daughter, Taylor Rose, amazing. Just love them both so much.
Awesome. And shout out to them. What are their names?
Taylor Rose and Barry Allen.
All right. Awesome. And final question here for you. The show is called The Pathways to Success. How do you personally define what success is?
I think if you can help other people find who they are, believe in themselves, and help them reach for their potential, you've been successful as a leader. So the more people that you can help along their journey, the more fulfilled you are, and that's how I apply it.
I think that is a wonderful definition of success.
Thank you.
So Bronwyn, this has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. This was well worth the wait, and thank you for coming on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I want a huge shout out to you, Julian. It's amazing. You've been an inspiration to all of us. So thank you for what you've done.
Thank you. I deeply appreciate that. So, but yes, Bronwyn, you threw me off. So if you would please tell our viewers, our audience, how to connect with you, follow High Profile, work with you. Tell us all that.
Absolutely. We're on Facebook, Instagram, but highprofilestaffing.com, and our main number is 972-991-7900, or please connect on LinkedIn. We are so excited to meet with you and help you any way we can.
And we'll make sure to have all of your contact information in the show notes as well. So this has been a true pleasure. I look forward to staying connected with you moving forward.
I do also. Thanks, Julian.
And everyone else, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of The Pathways to Success. As always, make sure to subscribe, comment, and share. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of The Pathways to Success.